Have you ever watched a team member do something and thought, oh my goodness, please stop. People are going to see this. Because I have the funniest story to tell you. I watched one of my dog's friends do something crazy this week, and the entire time my mind was saying, what on earth are you doing? I'm telling you, it was the most accurate leadership metaphor that I have seen in a while, and so I have to share it with you. If you're leading a team with mixed personalities, mixed energy, mixed seasons of life, this episode is for you. Welcome to the Lead with Spark podcast, the show where real women lead with authenticity, show up with presence, and live out their purpose. I'm Lynsey Mulder, speaker, C-suite executive, family gal, travel junkie, and a firm believer that your leadership starts from within. Around here, we go beyond the fluff. We talk about the real stuff no one teaches you in leadership training. Your values, your superpower strengths, boundaries to stop burnout, and how to quit being the chaos coordinator of your own life. Whether you're building a business, leading a team, or just trying to stop feeling stuck in the daily grind, this is your space to get clear, get aligned, and finally lead with confidence. So let's cut the noise and reconnect with the spark that makes you, you. Let's go get our spark on. Hey, I'm glad you're here. Did you know that every workplace, every team, every organization has this happen? An old dog with new chaos. And yes, I mean that literally, because lately I have been noticing dogs in a whole new way. And if you've ever led people, you already know dogs are basically tiny leadership case studies with no filter and no calendar boundaries. So let me tell you what happened. This is so funny. I was at Bible study at a friend's house the other night, and her dog did the very most committed thing that I have ever seen. He walks over to his basket of toys and starts digging through them. He's full of energy, like he had a mission. He's pushing aside those rubber bones and pulling toys out, and he keeps digging through the basket until he finds a specific stuffed toy animal. Cute little bear, little brown eyes, adorable little thing. And then, over the course of the next hour, he doesn't play with it. He treated it like the one thing that had wronged him in his life. He completely dismantled it. He started with the ears, he bit them off and tossed them aside, actually threw them onto another friend's lap. Then he ripped off the nose, and eventually the eyes disappeared, an arm was gone. He was pulling stuffing out and throwing it all over the living room, piece by piece. And before we knew it, that toy was completely destroyed. And the stuffing and the body parts were dispersed across the whole floor. Kind of looked like somebody had thrown confetti up. I just kept staring at him like, what on earth is happening? And the best part, he looked so pleased with himself. He jumped up on the couch when he was all done by my friend, and he sat up there so nice, looking at her like, look at me, I conquered it. He was entertained, and honestly, I was too. He was very satisfied. He looked like he was thriving and at the top of his game. I was so distracted watching him and giggling at his determination and commitment. And the really funny thing is, a few days later, my girlfriend sends me a picture, and yes, he was at it again, a different toy. The same energy, fluff, and body parts were everywhere in her living room. Okay, hold on to that image. Because if you have ever led a meeting where someone comes in hot, pulls the ears off the conversation, rips the nose off a problem, and then leaves emotional stuffing all over the room, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Before we dive into that, I have to tell you my dog's current situation. I've got two dogs. Our dogs are older than my friends, and they are very set in their routine. They definitely have opinions, and they absolutely like their schedule. One of our boys is Nani. He just turned 13 years old, or should I say 68 years old in human years. That makes him the oldest person in our household. Our youngest dog is named Tux, and he's now 7, and he is still so funny. Tux has a bedtime routine that is so dramatic it should have its very own podcast. I'm going to put a video of it on social media so you can go out and find it because it's hilarious and you have to see it. He will turn upside down on his back and then paw like over his head at his bed like a wild man. Then he'll bite the corner of the bed, drag it around in circles like he's wrestling a crocodile or something. And then, and only then, he climbs into the bed while he's still biting it, of course. And finally, after about 10 minutes into this routine, he lays down and immediately falls asleep. And then Nani, my older dog, this entire time is just staring at him like he's that little brother that embarrasses him in front of his friends. That look says, dude, we do not do that in public. Please stop. As I watch this whole thing thinking, this is the workplace. This is leadership. This is every team, because every team has these roles: the steady one, the energetic one, the rule follower, the disruptor, the calm processor, the loud processor, I might have been called that before, the just tell me what to do person, and the hey, let's reinvent everything by Tuesday person. And if you're leading right now in any area of your life, you're probably managing mixed energy ages. Not actual age, energy age. Season of life, season of career, season of confidence. The fire of energy that's inside every person. The makeup is the same team with a different nervous system. Each person on the team regulates that energy differently. As a leader, we need to recognize this. Some people regulate through routine. Some people regulate through motion. Some people, like me, regulate through talking. And some people regulate through silence. And here's what I see leaders do all the time. They call that difference a problem, when it's actually great information to help you lead. Think about it this way. The older dog isn't better and the younger dog isn't worse. They're just different. Their energy is different. The role of leadership isn't to make everyone behave and act the same way. It's to help everyone succeed, recognizing their unique contributions. Of course, I would do that without stuffing everywhere. As I thought about all these dogs this week, I had a few observations that I thought that I would share. Chaos is often an unmet need, but not a bad attitude. Let's talk about my friend's dog and his stuffed toy for just a second. Because if you've ever led people, you've seen this. Sometimes someone comes into the room with energy that feels like controlling, reactive, intense, overly certain, overly loud, or weirdly competitive. And leaders often label that as they're difficult, they're overbearing, they're just not a culture fit. Have you heard those? In coaching, I've learned to ask a different question. What need is underneath the chaos? Because that dog wasn't being naughty, not at all. In fact, he was having a ball. He was seeking something: stimulation, satisfaction, relief, control, regulation. Absolutely, he was seeking accomplishment. And people do the same thing at work. Sometimes chaos is a stress response. I've seen it as a lack of clarity. Sometimes it's feeling unseen, or maybe people are just reacting out of fear. Sometimes it's boredom, and sometimes it's someone who has been holding it all together all week long, and this meeting was the last straw. One of my clients came to me last week and said, I'm frustrated all the time, and I don't even recognize myself. As we talked throughout her session, it wasn't that she was a frustrated person. She was in a season where her role had outgrown her boundaries. She was being the default for way too many things, and she was ripping the ears off every small problem because she was carrying too much weight. That was causing the stuffing to fly all around her. Once we named that, the chaos made sense. And then we could change it. Not by telling her stop being frustrated, but by getting honest about what needed to shift. A quick fact: this is happening more now than ever before. Work is moving faster. People are carrying more context switching than ever. And our attention is under constant pressure. Researchers have been talking for years about how frequently that we switch tasks and how that strains our focus. And it gets worse every single year. And even without getting super nerdy, you can feel it. Your brain is juggling more tabs at a time than your laptop probably has open right now. So when you see toy destruction energy on your team, it may not be a personality problem. It may be a pace problem, a clarity problem, a capacity problem. My second observation, the older dog can become judgmental and miss the gift. Let's talk about Nani, my old man. Nani is steady, he's mature, he's predictable, he's reliable. Most leaders love the older dog. He shows up. He doesn't need any applause, and he definitely doesn't cause drama. He doesn't ask for much. He keeps things running. But here's the shadow side of the older dog energy. They can become quietly judgmental of the people who are still learning out loud. They'll roll their eyes in meetings. They'll shut down new ideas. They'll say things like, well, we tried that in 2017, or, well, yes, I appreciate that idea, but that will never work here. Or my personal favorite, we just don't have time for this. Sometimes that is wisdom, but sometimes that's fear disguised as experience. Because the older dog likes predictability, and change threatens predictability. So they stare at that younger dog like, please stop, you're going to embarrass us all. And leaders unintentionally reinforce that dynamic. They overcorrect the younger dog while over-relying on the older dog. And then what happens? The younger dog either gets shamed into silence or doubles down and becomes more chaotic. And the older dog gets resentful because they feel like they're always the responsible one. So you end up with innovation dying quietly or that chaos growing loudly. I see this every week through my clients. It sounds something like, I feel like I have to be the realistic one in every single meeting. And that's a real thing, especially for women leaders. Being the steady one often turns into being the container for everyone else's emotions, deadlines, drama, all of that at the same time. And at some point, your nervous system is like, I would just like to lay down also. One more observation that I have to share. Great leadership is channeling energy, not crushing it. Great leadership isn't about eliminating the chaos, it's about teaching it where to go. Because those dogs, they have gifts. The younger one has energy, creativity, movement, curiosity, momentum. And the older one, he's got gifts too. Stability, wisdom, pattern recognition, consistency. You need both of those on your team and in your life. So what does great leadership do in those moments? You bring a lot of energy to the team, and that's valuable. You bring a steady presence. That's valuable. Great leaders then create guardrails so that the energy becomes impact. The younger dog can run as long as those few guardrails are established. Great leaders also protect the culture from all that stuffing on the floor, meaning you can be passionate without being destructive. And great leaders do not expect everyone to regulate the same way. Some people need motivation, some need silence, some need time. Recognize what each person on your team needs, recognize what you personally need, and provide for the differences to get 100% from each person. And if you're thinking, okay, Lynsey, but what does that actually look like? Here's the simplest way that I can say it. Channel the energy, don't shame it, honor the steady, don't overuse it. Does that make sense? And a quick note, because you said it and you're right, I don't talk about my coaching enough. And this exact dynamic, the mixed energy teams, the mixed seasons and communication styles, this comes up constantly in my coaching conversations with leaders. We work through things like how to lead without absorbing everyone's emotions, how to set boundaries without guilt, how to address toy destruction behavior without becoming the villain, and how to create a culture where younger energy is guided and the older energy is respected. So if you're listening and thinking, I need support with this, connect with me. I've got a link in the show notes for you. Just reach out. You do not have to lead alone. All right, back to the story. Reinvention is often old dog, new dog chaos inside of you. Here's the twist. This is not just about your team. This is often happening inside you. Because you have an older dog part of you, that's the part that likes routine, knows what works from years of wisdom, wants to look competent, wants to be respected. And you've got a younger dog part of you, the part that wants to grow, reinvent, experiment, try something new, wrestle that bed a little bit and see what happens. And when you're in a reinvention season, which, by the way, can happen at any age, as a matter of fact, research shows us that most women reinvent themselves again between the ages of 45 and 55. Isn't that exciting? Okay, sorry. That was my ADD taking off. Back to the story. Those two parts, your younger dog and your older dog, can feel like they're in a steering contest with each other. The older dog in your mind is saying, please stop. People are going to see this. Whereas the younger dog is sitting on the other side of your mind saying, but I'm bored. I'm restless. I need movement. I know there is more for me to do. And self-leadership, real leadership, starts when you stop shaming either part of yourself. Because reinvention requires the stability to stay grounded and the courage to try again or to try something new. It's not an either or, it's a both. So here's what I want you to walk away with today. If your team has mixed energy ages, that's normal. If you're seeing chaos, look for the true need beneath the chaos. If you're the steady one, don't let that turn into silent resentment. Your job isn't to make everyone act like either the younger dog or the older dog. Your job is to help everyone succeed without stuffing every place. And if this episode hit you, you know what to do. Send it to the older dog leader who needs to loosen their grip a little bit. Send it to the younger dog leader who needs a few guardrails. Or send it to the woman who is trying to lead everyone while quietly outgrowing her own chapter. Because your energy is perfect, just the way it is. You're leading in a world that's moving fast. So go be brave in the most normal way possible. And if you see stuffing on the floor this week, don't panic, just channel the energy. I'll see you next time. Lead with Spark. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for being here and for doing the work to lead yourself first. If this episode sparked something for you, take a second to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with another woman who's ready to own her leadership. And remember, the way you lead your life is the way you lead everything else. If you or your organization are looking for a speaker, an impactful workshop, or an executive coach, head over to lynseymoulder.com and let's connect. Keep showing up. Keep leading with Spark. You got this. I'll see you next time.